Hey everyone, how are you? Welcome back. This is your very own Rasheeda Omalade Sule. Yes, it's Thursday. It's Thursday. I'm just pouring myself a cup of tea. Mm, yes, I decided to do tea this morning and not coffee. Because a lot of times I need to clean out my system from all that coffee stuff. So I'm going to get right to it. Yeah, I'm sorry. Look at my slippers and everything. What's going on? How y'all's doing? It's a bit, I don't know if it's a bit dark, but I choose not to open up the window. All that sun would just be my face. OMG. So, if you're watching me from YouTube, if you're on my YouTube and you're watching me and you haven't subscribed yet, what you waiting for? Be kind and subscribe and hit the notification button so whenever I'm about to go live, you'll be one of the first people to get it. And you're watching me from Elite Creators Roadmap on Facebook. How y'all doing? What's going on? And if you're watching me on my Facebook personal profile, hey, how you doing? What's up, what's up, what's up? OMG, my goodness, this book is everything. Like, if you haven't gotten this book, I don't know what you're waiting on. You're missing out so much. It's like, and if you have this book and you're not reading, okay, so we have a lot to get through today. Why? Because this right here, you know how they say if you don't know, it's not even if you don't know where you're coming from, you probably don't know where you're going. No, it's good to know where you're going. A lot of time it's good to forget, put behind you what's all that stuff. Put behind you all that stuff. But I think it's more of, let me not talk too much because this right here is going to do it. It's going to do it all. So I'm reading from page 162, Think and Grow Rich, Organized Planning. Organized Planning. This is the 30 causes of failure. Now, someone asked me, over here, why are you talking about the failures? Because the thing is, if you don't know what's going to cause you to fail, how are you going to get to your success? If you don't know that too much of this, too much of that, too much of this, or this is going to cause you to fail. Like I explained to you, there's nothing new under the sun. Absolutely nothing that is new under the sun. So if there's nothing new under the sun, maybe you just forgot. Or maybe you didn't have people to tell you, or maybe you do know, but you just don't do the right thing. Then how are you going to be successful? You know, our path here this month is to get you to a place where you begin to think. Begin to think. This we have to gear this up to think. All right, so we're gonna get right to it. For my people who don't have the book, I get you. This is the reason why I'm doing this. Please try as much as possible to get the book. And if you're not able to, yeah, listen to the audio. The audio is all right. It's not, it's a recording from way back. So it's not as clear as it should be. But if you have this book, then you'll be able to, you know, like highlight it the way that I highlight it and get so much from it. Because you can always go back to this book. Someone, my mentor, like Bob Proctor, this guy read this book for 60 years. 60 years. A man with no formal education, nothing. Not from a rich home. And he didn't become successful because of the color of his skin, no. What he did was read this book every single day and set goals. All right. So the wages of sin is death. I'm so I'm started with this, right? Like Rasheeda, boom, right on the head. The wages of sin is death. Many of you have heard this. Many have read this in the Bible, but few have discovered its meaning. Now and for several years, the entire world has been listening by force to a sermon which might well be called, "Whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap." Many of you have heard this before. Whatever you sow, that's what you reap. You can't sow corn and expect apples. It don't work that way. Nothing is widespread and effective as the depression could possibly be just a coincidence. Behind the depression was a curse. Behind the depression was a cause. Nothing ever happens without a cause. Okay? Nothing never happens without a cause. In the main, the cause of the depression is traceable directly to the worldwide habit of trying to reap without sowing. Now, if you haven't read this book, you may not understand what I'm trying to say, which is he was talking about the time of depression. There was a time of depression in America, years, oh Lord, 19 something, early 1900s. And he's talking here about the law of cause and effect. When you talk about whatever you plant, whatever you plant, that's what you will reap. Okay, so he goes into whatever you reap, that's what you will sow. But a lot of people are trying to reap what they didn't sow. So that's why he's talking about this. This should not be mistaken to mean that the depression represents a crop which the world is being forced to reap without having sown. The trouble is that the world sowed the wrong sort of seed. In your life right now, could it be that the reason why you're getting the results that you're getting is because you're sowing the wrong seeds? Because what's happening in your life, what is going on around you that is making you unhappy, the results that you're getting, in your life that are not making you happy, whether in your relationship, whether in your health, whether in your wealth, whether in your business, what you are sowing is actually what you see reaping. That's what you're seeing around you. And it's happening without you saying, "This is what I want." But you're not catching yourself when you lay down and you think all these negative thoughts. You think positive, and then all of a sudden the negative kicks in and you don't knock that negative out. Though you don't want the negative, but because you didn't knock it out, that's the seed that you planted. We read in one of the chapters in this book that it's so easy for the negative to pop off than the positive. It's so easy. The negative thing will happen so quickly more than the positive, because it's so much easier for people to think of the negative. Okay. One thing he said that really, really took my attention away, which is something that a lot of people are doing. The world is being forced to reap without having sown. The trouble is that the world sowed the wrong sort of seed. Any farmer knows he cannot sow the seed of thistles and reap a harvest of grain. Beginning at the outbreak of the World War, the people of the world began to sow the seed of service, inadequate in both quality and quantity. Nearly everyone was engaged in the pastime of trying to get without giving. That right there. Everybody's trying to get without giving. It does not work. Today's word is so powerful that I can't even put because my brain will be working all over the place. But I am asking you to get a pen and get paper that you're going to write with, because I'm going to read out every one of the 30 causes of failure. Because whether one or two of them you know about, and it's probably causing you to remain where you are. And you're thinking, could it be my great auntie? Could it be my father's sister? Could it be this? Could it be that? Have you ever asked yourself, could it be you? And if it is you, what do you need to do to get rid of that so you can start becoming that which you are? Now, watch this. Nearly everyone was engaged in the pastime of trying to get without giving. These illustrations are brought to the attention of those who have personal services to market to show that we are where we are and what we are because of our own conduct. If there is a principle of cause and effect which controls business, finance, and transportation, this same principle controls individuals and determines their economic status. So certain things you need to know. The same Bible that says pray without ceasing is the same Bible that says my people are perishing for lack of knowledge. You got to get it, because then that's when you know what to pray about. That's what you know what you need to get rid of. That's what you know what you need to add on to you in order to be better. You're great. You were complete when you were conceived. And then when your parent or your mom gave birth to you, you were perfect. But along the lines, something happened. What is your QQS rating? What is your QQS rating? Write this down. QQS rating. The causes of success in marketing services effectively and permanently have been clearly described. And don't come and say, oh, Rasheeda, but I'm not a marketer. You'd be surprised. Every day you're selling yourself. Not in that kind of way. Every day somebody's selling and somebody's buying. When you choose not to go to work, what did you just do? When you choose to go to work, what did you just do? So don't make it seem as if because you don't have your own business, or because you don't have your own business, or you're not in sales, or you're not in marketing, so therefore you're not selling anything. But let me just continue with this. Unless those causes are studied, analyzed, understood, and applied, no man can market his services effectively and permanently. When you're going to look for a job, what do you think you're doing? When you're looking for a job, why do you think a lot of people on all of these social medias selling clothes, selling jewelry, selling glasses, or whatever it is that they're selling, they put it on people, attractive people? What they doing? They're trying to get your attention. If you don't buy, next. They selling. Are you going to buy? It's always, we are living in a world of everyone is selling themselves. You want somebody to think you're a nice person, you're selling yourself. You want somebody to, say, oh my gosh, she's so wise. You're selling yourself unknowingly, but you're selling yourself. Every person must be his own salesman of personal service. All right, I ain't gonna say nothing no more because this book he's gonna take care of everything. The quality and the quantity of service rendered and the spirit in which it is rendered determine to a large extent the price and the duration of employment. To market personal services effectively, uh, which means a permanent market at a satisfactory price under pleasant conditions, one must adopt the file and follow the QQS formula, which means that quality plus quantity plus the proper spirit of cooperation equals perfect salesmanship of service. I'm going to say it one more time. Quality plus quantity plus the proper spirit of cooperation equals perfect salesmanship of service. Remember the QQS formula, but do more. Apply it as a habit. Don't just write it down. QQS, quantity, quality, and spirit. You're going to apply it and make it a habit. So we're going to analyze the formula to make sure that everyone understands exactly what it means. Quality of service. What is quality of service? Quality of service shall be construed to mean the performance of every detail in connection with your position in the most efficient manner possible, with the object of greater efficiency always in mind. I want my tea to get cold. Quantity of service. Quantity of service shall be understood to mean the habit of rendering all the service of which you are capable at all times, with the purpose of increasing the amount of service rendered as greater skill is developed through practice and experience. Emphasis is again placed on the word habit. Habit. Write that down. Habit. So we got the quality, we got the quantity. Now we're going to get the spirit of service. Spirit of service shall be construed to mean the habit of agreeable, harmonious conduct, which will induce cooperation from associates and fellow employees. I know it may sound but just hold on, okay? QQS, quality of service, quantity of service, and the spirit of service. Powerful. Adequacy of quality and quantity of service is not sufficient to maintain a permanent market for your services. The conduct or the spirit in which you deliver service is a strong determining factor in connection with both the price you receive and the duration of employment. The way you deliver the service, the way you deliver yourself, the way you deliver yourself will let you know the price that people want to pay for it. The way you deliver yourself. Are you single? How are you delivering yourself? How are you showing up? How are you showing up to available guys out there? Are you at working for a company and you want to be promoted? How are you showing up? Are you at work 9:00 a.m. on the dot, and you out of work 5 p.m. on the dot because they ain't paying you more than that, so therefore you ain't staying longer than that? They're paying you exactly what you're worth. And you're not showing anything else. Andrew Carnegie, I love the man. Well, the story that I've heard of him anyway. Andrew Carnegie stressed this point more than others in connection with his description of the factors which lead to success in the marketing of personal services. He emphasized again and again the necessity of harmonious conduct. Do you know what harmonious conduct is? Don't worry, we'll get to it. He stressed the fact that he would not retain any man, no matter how great the quantity is or how efficient the quality of his work is, unless he worked in a spirit of harmony. So your product can be fantastic. The product you're trying to put out there can be fantastic. But then the moment the product open up the mouth, or the moment you, that's the owner of the product, open up your mouth, people are like, that's okay. It's okay, I'm not. As soon as you open up your mouth, he stressed the fact that he would not retain any man, no matter how great a quantity or how efficient the quality of his work is, unless he worked in a spirit of harmony. Are you working with people that are not in the spirit of harmony? Do you have people working for you that are not, that don't have the spirit of harmony with what you're doing? We have companies that all kind of people are working in there, got all kind of spirits going on in there. That's why it's so chaotic. That's why it's so chaotic. Mr. Carnegie insisted upon men being agreeable. To prove that he placed a high value upon this quality, he permitted many men who conformed to his standards to become very wealthy. Those who did not conform had to make room for others. They were let go. You got to be in harmony. You got a leader who's leading you. Be in harmony. Be in harmony. If you know that you are under the right leader, be in harmony. Those who did not conform had to make room for others. The importance of a pleasing personality has been stressed because it is a factor which enables one to render service in the proper spirit. If one has a personality which pleases and renders service in a spirit of harmony, these assets often make up for deficiency in both the quality and the quantity of service one renders. So if you have a soothing conversation, you're a person who sees the bigger picture. Quality and quantity will come. Nothing, however, can be successfully substituted for pleasing conduct. Nothing. Nothing. As a parent, let's say you have children. When you come into the home and your teenagers are having all kind of attitudes, how does that make you feel? But if you come into your home and your children are excited, happy, oh, mom, let me help you with this. Dad, let me get your shoes. Let me do this. Let me do that. You're like, something inside of you just want to do more for them. The capital value of your services. The person whose income is derived entirely from the sale of personal services is no less a merchant than the man who sells commodities. And it might well be added, such a person is subject to exactly the same rules of conduct as the merchant who sells merchandise. I'm going to go down a little bit. This has been emphasized because the majority of people who live by the sale of personal services make the mistake of considering themselves free from the rules of conduct and the responsibilities attached to those who are engaged in marketing commodities. The new way of marketing services has practically forced both employer and employee into partnership alliances through which both take into consideration the rights of the third party, the public they serve. Okay. The day of the go-getter has passed. The day of the go-getter has passed. He has been supplanted by the go-giver. The day of the go-getter. Gotta get passed. Now it's all about the go-giver. High pressure methods in business finally blew the lid off. There will never be the need to put the lid back on because in the future, business will be conducted by methods that will require no pressure. No pressure. It says money is worth no more than brains. It is often worth much less. Money is worth less than your brain. Is worth less. Money. Money is paper. Nothing but paper. When you now use it to purchase something, you just gave it value. That's it. It says competent brains, if effectively marketed, represent a much more desirable form of capital than that which is required to conduct a business dealing in commodities, because brains are a form of capital which cannot be permanently depreciated through depressions, nor can this form of capital be stolen or spent. Moreover, the money which is essential for the conduct of business is as worthless as a sand dune until it has been mixed with efficient brains. Now, let's go into the 30 major causes of failure. I just needed to get that out. I needed to get that out. I needed you all to know that. The laws of cause and effect is so real. What you reap, you will sow. If you are sowing nothing, you are reaping nothing. And if you are reaping what you don't like, then you need to change what you are sowing. So the 30 major causes of failure. And the reason why I'm going to read this out is because if you don't know what can cause you to fail, you know everything is going to help you win, but you don't know what's going to cause you to fail. You're going to fail. You know everything is going to cause you to win, but you don't know when you hit a rock, what you do. Okay, so let's get to it. Life's greatest tragedy. What the? Life's greatest tragedy consists of men and women who honestly try and fail. The tragedy lies in the overwhelming large majority of people who fail, as compared to the few who succeed. I have had the privilege of analyzing several thousand men and women, 98% of whom were classed as failures. There is something wrong, radically wrong, with a civilization and a system of education which permits 98% of people to go through life as failures. So when many people say, oh, I want to be a part of the 1%, or part of the 10%. 10% of people are extremely wealthy, 90% are. But I did not write this book for the purpose of moralizing on the rights and wrongs of the world. That would require a book of 100 times the size of this one. My analysis work proved that there are 30 major reasons for failure and 13 major principles through which people accumulate fortunes. In this chapter, a description of the 30 major causes of failure will be given. As you go over the list, check yourself. As you go through these lists, as I'm going through this list, check yourself point by point for the purpose of discovering how many of these causes of failure stands between you and success. What are the failures that stands between you and success? Because when you know the failure, then you can write those suckers down and be like, you know what? I'm not going to allow this. I'm not going to allow this to stop me from getting to where I need to be. The first one is unfavorable hereditary background. There is but little, if any, which can be done for people who are born with a deficiency in brain power. We get that. We get that. Maybe someone with Down syndrome, even though they are so lovely people, they are so, oh my. Have you ever sat down with someone who has Down syndrome? Oh my God, fantastic people. This philosophy offers but one method of bridging this weakness through the aid of the mastermind. Observe with profit, however, that this is the only one of the 30 causes of failure, which may not be easily corrected by any individual because it's something they were born. That's how they were born. 2, lack of well-defined purpose in life. That's the reason why we're doing this. Lack of well-defined purpose in life. If you do not know your purpose, you're working a job, yeah. It's paying you, yeah. Paying your bills, yeah. But is that your purpose? There is no hope of success for the person who does not have a central purpose or a definite goal at which to aim at. What is your aim? Okay, so you work in this job, but at the end of the day, what is your aim? What is your aim? 98 out of every 100 of those whom I have analyzed had no such aim. Where's your final destination? Where's your final destination? Where are you going? Perhaps this was the major cause of their failure. 98 out of 100 did not have an aim. And many of us, we do goal to me was like a doggone task. Write down your goals. Okay, what I'm going to do today? What I'm going to do this week? What I'm going to do this month? What I'm going to do next year in order to acquire, blah, 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 blah. These were goals that I know that I could achieve. So that's why it's not a goal. We're talking about that later. Number 3, lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity. We offer no hope for the person who is so indifferent as not to want to get ahead in life and who is not willing to pay the price. Some people are not, they're not moved by success. They don't have any ambition to do anything. To be careful in peoples. Many of you have them as friends. Insufficient education. This is a handicap which may be overcome with comparative ease Experience has proven that the best educated people, now hear this, the best educated people are often those who are known as self-made or self-educated. It takes more than a college degree. Now hear that? I got a PhD. I got a master's degree. It takes more than a college degree to make one a person of education. Any person who is educated is one who has learned to get whatever he wants in life without violating the rights of others. Education consists not so much of knowledge, but of knowledge effectively and persistently applied. It's not what you know, it's how you apply what you know. Men are paid not merely for what they know, but more particularly for what they do with that which they know. The fifth one is lack of self-discipline. My ladies and gents, lack of self-discipline. Discipline comes through self-control. This means that one must control all negative qualities. Before you can control conditions, you must first control yourself. Self-mastery is the hardest job you will ever tackle. If you do not conquer self, you will be conquered by self. If you don't conquer the urges, the things that makes you want to do the wrong thing, that thing is going to take over you. You may see it at one and the same time both your best friend and your greatest enemy by stepping in front of a mirror. Did you hear that? You may see at one and the same time both. So when you stand in front of a mirror, know that you are your own best friend and you are also your own worst enemy. That right there was deep. But a lot of times we try to change other people around us and say it's because what they did is what triggered what I did. It's said to have self-discipline and to have control. You don't have control of yourself. And people know what trigger you. They might as well be triggering you every 2 seconds. And what you gonna do? Keep blowing up? And he said this and she said that. Oh, wow. 6, ill health. No person may enjoy outstanding success without good health. Many of the causes of ill health are subject to mastery and control. Mastery and control. Some of the things that causes ill health. Overeating of foods not conducive to your health. You're not supposed to be eating pork, but I just love the way it tastes though. Or you're not supposed to be eating whatever it is you're not supposed to be eating. Some people are allergic to regular milk. Some people are allergic to so many things, but they just love it. They just want to eat it. Wrong habits of thought, giving expression to negatives. Wrong use of and overindulgence in sex. The wrong use of it or the overindulgence of it. It's not good. Also, not having self-control of that as well, it's not good. Lack of proper physical exercise. Inadequate supply of fresh air due to improper breathing. You need fresh air. Get out, walk, get some fresh air, exercise. Unfavorable, number 7 is unfavorable environmental influences during childhood. Did you hear that? Unfavorable environmental influences during childhood. As the twig is bent, so shall the tree grow. Your childhood. How were you raised? Parents that have children. There's going to be a story that it has been really eating me up inside to talk about. And I'm gonna find, I have the strength to talk about it, but I just want to put it in a proper perspective, because I have forgiven a long time ago, but it's going to be a lesson for parents. You have children. Don't even tell what's going on with your children, sometimes even to your siblings. Don't do that. Don't do that. But I'll talk about that. Not today. Most people who have criminal tendencies acquire them as a result of bad environment and improper associates during childhood. 8, procrastination. This is one of the most common causes of failure. One old procrastination stands within the shadow of every human being, waiting his opportunity to spoil one's chances of success. Most of us go through life as failures because we are waiting for the time to be right. You're waiting for the time to be right to start doing something that's worthwhile. I tell people, stop saying you're waiting on God. You're waiting on God. God is infinite. God is infinite. Know that as soon as you got the idea, that idea was birthed to you. That's God telling you that you can do that thing if it's a good thing. And you know what's good and what's wrong, what's bad. Once you have the idea, who do you think gave you the idea? Everybody around you didn't have the same idea. You're the only person that had that idea. That means he done gave it to you. He done birthed it in you. Come on, you waiting on God. Girl, you couldn't wait long enough. We're like flowers. We bloom today and we're gone tomorrow. Stop waiting for the right time. Don't wait. Don't wait. The time would never be just right. It would never. Oh, I'm waiting. As soon as the Lord say go, I'm going to go. As soon as the Lord say. The time would never be just right. Start where you stand and work with whatever tools you have. Whatever tools you may have at your command, work with that. And better tools will be found as you go along the way. It's like having a puzzle. Some people would start by putting the sides together, the 4 corners or whatever corner together, and then eventually everything else will piece itself in. Whichever way you start, just start. You can't complete a puzzle if you don't start. Lack of persistence. Most of us are good starters, but poor finishers. Of everything we begin, we will start something, but a lot of times just never finish it. You don't jump into something else. A lot of you can get yourself from there, right? Moreover, people are prone to give up at the first sign of defeat. You make all sorts of excuses. You'll make all sorts of excuses. All sorts of excuses. As soon as one hiccup come up, I'm out of here. I'm gonna do the next thing. And you know what? When you are in line, when you are aligned and in line with what you're supposed to be doing, know that a hiccup will come, but that's not the reason for you to give up and jump on the next thing, because other opportunities will be coming. I don't know if you guys have ever experienced, you're in your calling. You're in what God has aligned for you to do or called you to do. All of a sudden you get they send you you're not making as much because you're just starting. All of a sudden you get a position. Oh, come and become a project manager. They're paying 150,000. Come and become this. They're paying 200,000. Come in. You are about to in your business. And then boom, you leave it right there. You're gone. And you don't come back to it. This baby is never going to rise up on its own. You got to continue to nurture it. You have to. You have to. There is no substitute for persistence. The person who makes persistence his watchword, discovers that old man failure, finally becomes tired and makes his departure. Failure cannot cope with persistence. Next one is negative personality. There is no hope for success. There's no hope of success for the person who repels people through a negative personality. Success comes through the application of power. And power is attained through the cooperative efforts of other people. A negative personality would not induce cooperation. The next one is lack of controlled sexual urge. I heard that? Lack of control, sexual urge. Sex energy is one of the most powerful of all the stimuli which move people into action, because it is the most powerful of the emotions. It must be controlled through transmutation and converted into other channels. How many men and women do you know have fallen from high positions, fallen because of this act, fallen from huge ranks, no longer respected by family, no longer, husbands that go out there and do these things, wives who do these things and think, nothing of it. This stuff right here, it's an energy. It can be channeled into something else. You don't have to necessarily allow it to control you to do the wrong thing. Remember, lack of control, lack of discipline, lack of self-control, lack of self-discipline. If you don't have those two, and as soon as, sex presents itself, it look real good on the outside, but you don't understand what you're doing to your insides and to your family, to the community, because you just think it's little old you. I ain't gonna hurt nobody. Oh, oh Lord, only if you knew. Uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. Uncontrolled desire for something for nothing. The gambling instinct drives millions of people to failure. The gambling instinct drives millions of people to failure. A lot of people have lost so much assets with gambling. So much assets. Evidence of this may be found in a study of Wall Street crash of 1929, during which millions of people tried to make money by gambling on stock margins. And a lot of people have made a lot of money in stocks, but a lot of people have lost a lot of money too. So I'm not saying that stocks is all bad, because I think people are doing better these days with it if you know what you're doing. Next is lack of a well-defined power of decision. Men who succeed reach decisions promptly and change them, if at all, very slowly. Men who fail reach decisions, if at all, very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. Men who succeed reach decisions promptly and change them, if at all, very slowly. Men who fail reach decisions, if at all, very slowly and change them frequently and quickly. Let me get back to you. They can never make a decision on time. Always got to think about it for 2 days, 3 days. By the time they even make the decision, the stuff is off the ground, it's over. Indecision and procrastination are twin brothers. Wow. Wow. Indecision and procrastination are twin brothers. Where one is found, the other may usually be found also. Kill off this pair before they completely hog tie you to the treadmill of failure. Next, one or more of the 6 basic fears. One or more of the 6 basic fears. I did talk about some of the basic fears. I did. They must be mastered before you can market your services effectively. The 6 basic fears must be mastered before you can market your services effectively. And what are the 6 basic fears? If you're writing this down, the first one is the fear of poverty. The second one is the fear of criticism. The third is the fear of ill health. The fourth, the fear of loss of love of someone. The fifth, the fear of old age. And the last is the fear of death. You have to master these before you can market your services effectively. Next is wrong selection of a mate in marriage. Oh my goodness, why did they do this to me today? Yes, I know. Whoever knows me, know me. Know me, know marriage. I am so much into marriage because that's what can fix the nation. That's the only thing that can fix the whole world. It's 2 people in harmony that give birth. Two sane, 2 very okay people. Wrong selection of a mate in marriage. This is a most common cause of failure. My husband usually says something. He said, if you miss it the first time, you really missed it. It's going to take a whole lot to get it right the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time. The relationship of marriage brings people intimately into contact. Unless this relationship is harmonious, failure is likely to follow. Moreover, it will be a form of failure that is marked by misery and unhappiness, destroying all signs of ambition. You know it. If you're not in the right marriage, you know all this stuff I just said, you feel, I'm right on with that one. Next one is overcaution. The person who takes no chances generally has to take whatever is left when others are through choosing. I'm not a risk taker. I don't take risk. No, no, no. I don't take risk. You have to. Overcaution is as bad as undercaution. Both are extremes to be guarded against. Life itself is filled with the element of chance. Next one is wrong selection of associates in business. Lord have mercy. Husband done told wife, don't do business with that person. I don't. Wife done told husband, chill out with that person. Don't do business with that person. They still got to go in it. So what does it say about wrong selection of associates in business? This is one of the most common causes of failure in business. In marketing personal services, one should use great care to select an employer who will be an inspiration. That person will be an inspiration and who is himself intelligent and successful. We emulate those with whom we associate most closely. Pick an employer who is worth emulating. Pick somebody who's worth emulating. Next one is superstition and prejudice. Superstition is a form of fear. It is also a sign of ignorance. My African people, my Dominican people, my Haitian people, hello. It's a form of fear. Men who succeed keep open minds and are afraid of nothing. Because every time you're afraid, you're going to go right back into your shell. Thinking somebody's going to do you something. Let them try to do whatever they want to do while you are still on the path of your success. If they can make it, they can. Wrong selection of a vocation. No man can succeed in a line of endeavor which he does not like. You don't like what you're doing, but you're doing it anyway. I hope you're building a business on the side. I hope you're doing something else on the side. The most essential step in the marketing of personal services, in that of selecting an occupation into which you can throw yourself wholeheartedly. Go find something you love to do. Lack of concentration of effort. The jack of all trades seldom is good at any. Concentrate all of your efforts on one definite chief aim. I love Steve Harvey. When I was in New York, for me, I knew him when he was a comedian, then at the Apollo, and all of a sudden, boom, radio, Family Feud, wrote a book. He's doing so many things now. But he started off with what? One thing that now, opened up several things for him. The habit of indiscriminate. Okay. The habit of indiscriminate spending. I'm sorry, I didn't know I got there yet. The habit of indiscriminate spending. The spendthrift cannot succeed. If you're Nigerian, Ami Jebu, we don't spend money like that. We don't spend, mainly because he stands eternally in fear of poverty. Always saving it, saving it, saving it, saving it. Extreme. Not the people that's saving, but the one that's doing it to an extreme. Form the habit of systematic saving by putting aside a definite percentage of your income. That's going to work. But when you try to put away every penny and you're not doing nothing for yourself, boy, that is making you happy. That's a sickness. Money in the bank gives one a very safe foundation of courage when bargaining for the sale of personal services. Without money, one must take what one is offered and be glad to get it. I guess you want to buy a house or something. Lack of enthusiasm. Without enthusiasm, one cannot be convincing. Moreover, enthusiasm is contagious, and the person who has it under control is generally welcome in any group of people. Intolerance. The person with a closed mind on any subject seldom gets ahead. Intolerance means that one has stopped acquiring knowledge. The most damaging form of intolerance are those connected with religious, racial, and political differences of opinion. The next one, intemperance. The most damaging forms of intemperance are connected with eating, strong drinking, and sexual activities. Overindulgence in any of these is fatal to success. Fatal. The next one is inability to cooperate with others. More people lose their positions and their big opportunities in life because of this fault than for all other reasons combined. Because of this inability to cooperate with others, a lot of people lose the opportunities. It is a fault which no well-informed businessman or leader will tolerate. You can't tolerate other people. The next one is possession of power that was not acquired through self-effort. Sons and daughters of wealthy men and others who inherit money which they did not earn. Power in the hands of one who did not acquire it gradually is often fatal to success. Quick riches are more dangerous than poverty. Y'all need an example of that? Win a lotto? Don't know how to really take care of it. And you become more poorer than you were before you won the lotto. The next one is intention dishonesty. There is no substitute for honesty. One may be temporarily dishonest by force of circumstances over which one has no control without permanent damage. Okay. You have no control. This may cause a serious permanent damage. But there is no hope for the person who is dishonest by choice. Sooner or later, his deeds will catch up with him, and he will pay by loss of reputation and perhaps even loss of liberty. The next one is egotism and vanity. These qualities serve as red lights, which warn others to keep away. They are fatal to success. Guessing instead of thinking. Most people are too indifferent or lazy to acquire facts with which to think accurately. They prefer to act on opinions created by guesswork or snap judgments. The last but not least is the lack of capital. This is a common cause of failure among those who start out in business for the first time without sufficient reserve of capital to absorb the shock of their mistakes and to carry them over until they have established a reputation. Under this, name any particular cause of failure from which you have suffered that has not been included in the foregoing lists. Okay, in these 30 major causes of failure is found a description of the tragedy of life, which obtains for practically every person who tries and fails. It will be helpful if you can induce someone who knows you well to go through this with. Or better yet, it is beneficial for you to try this alone. Most people cannot see themselves as others see them. You may be one who cannot, because the oldest of admonitions is, man, know thyself. Know yourself. Know yourself. When I tell you this book, it took out so many things. You read in the Bible, I get it. The Bible is fantastic. The Quran is amazing. It's all good. But if you're not learning from the people who have lived this life and has walked that walk, they make your walk easier because they've done it. There's nothing that I've read today from this book that you will say you've never heard about or you just don't know about. You've heard of persistence. You've heard of procrastination. You heard of too much of anything is bad for you. Overindulgence. He even talked about being kind, being pleasant. You can't sell yourself if you're not pleasant. You have to have a pleasant conduct. Everybody out there, everybody want a job. Are you ready to listen to a boss and to be respectful until you can be a boss? Not over everything that wants you, you want it. It's having no self-discipline, no self-control. You're married with children. No self-control. Sometimes I wonder why some people even have children. Because it also talks about what's done to a child grows with them. That's why there's so many things going on in the world, and we wonder if there's a God, then why so many things happening? So many things are happening because people have not learned their left hand from their right hand. And some people have. Some people have broken. They have broken everything that's keeping them from soaring. Anyway, I'm going to stop right here today. I want to say thank you for spending time with me, going through this with me. The craziest thing is I've heard of this book so many times. Because as a speaker, you go to so many different places. You hear Think and Grow Rich and Think and Grow Rich and Think and Grow Rich and Think. I never thought to get it. Never thought to get it. Never thought to get it. You're a salesperson. You're a network. You need to get this. It's really good. All right. Thank you so much. Let me see. Being that, I guess we're done tomorrow, huh? I'll find something in there that I can talk about. I think the one thing that I really, really want to horn in on is your decision making. It says the most successful people are decision makers. They make decisions very quickly. They don't have time to be lingering around. And if it doesn't go well, okay, next, it's okay. But the ones that want to think it over and let me think it over and let me think it over. All right, ladies and gents, thank you so much for your time today. It is Thursday. Looking forward to. What am I looking forward to? The weekend with the children. Yeah. All right. And my husband. Take care, ladies and gents. God bless you real good.